Afternoon, everybody. This is Jeff from Rough Bucket Valley Garage. I wanted to take and give you an update on the 2019 Honda Civic. Had a lot of action go on this week. We have done a lot of paint work and assembly work on the replacement front bumper, where we've got everything painted, assembled, it's back on the car. We had some dents in the left front fender. That has been worked out, sanded and painted. We have a dent we found in the driver's left front door. We went ahead and we fixed that. That is in primer right now. We're just waiting until the next time we take and mix up some paint to take and finish that off. This is a view underneath the car. We had some chassis damage underneath here. This whole section here had to be replaced, all brand new. It's one big panel, about 4 feet by 5 feet. So we spent a couple hours yesterday doing that. So everything will be really nice. It's kind of like when we get into one of these jobs, you find one thing and no, you don't want to let that go. You just go ahead and fix it, and it makes everybody happy. Here after lunch today, we're going to put the door skin on. We got to straighten this area up just a little bit more. There's a little bit of a curve right here. We tried the door panel on it. Doesn't quite fit the way we want it. So we got a brand new door panel that can go on there. So we also got a new tool that we broke our other one. This one is from Eastwood. This is not a sponsor. We're going to go ahead and crimp this panel on, and then we're going to seal it. We put down sealer before we take and put the panel on, and then we crimp it, and then we seal this seal on the inside. And then on the edge of the door, there is just a little bit of damage right here. We're going to have to take and sand that off and prime it and paint it. Maybe a little bit of fill work, not quite sure yet, but it's actually really, really close. So fill work will be minimal. So one thing I wanted to talk about is the amount of damage on this vehicle that went ahead and totaled it out. Okay, let me move on over there. So something else we noticed is these auxiliary brake lights here and on the other side had cracks in them, so we went ahead and replaced those. There was also a damaged wiring harness in the trunk, so we went ahead and this panel right here pops off from the inside. Luckily it's not glued on. There are just some plastic fasteners that hold the thing on, so we were able to get that off, get the cable replaced, put it back together. We took a look at the damage here, and the inner structure is quite bad. So we kind of looked at the cost of buying the parts individual, and the number of parts that we'd need were going to be quite substantial. This is one panel here, this is another panel here, this is another panel here, this is another one here, this is another one here, this is another one here. This panel right here, from this side here to the door jamb, and it goes underneath the quarter window down to the beginning of the fender. That one panel is $825. So we made a judgment call, and if we could take and do this cheaper for the customer using same quality parts and everything, we totally like to do that. We don't mark our parts up. We give them to the customer for whatever we get them for. If a driver has to go get them, of course we charge for that, but there is no markup on our parts. The only way that we could take and get the parts that we needed in the right configuration and everything was to take and go to a salvage yard and buy a section of a car which we did right here. So this section of a car here out of a 2019 Honda Civic LX, there is absolutely no body damage on it. It is pristine inside and out. They gave us far more material here than we will need. For the damage plane in this vehicle is the plane as we cut through the car, where you take off all the stuff that's wadded up, and then you start running into pieces that are straight. Okay, and how far is that? So, you know, we found out where the damage plane is, and it turns out that it is just a little ways inside this panel here. Once we get this panel off, we're going to start running into straight pieces, so which is really good. So we thought it was a little bit more worse than that, but you can see down the side here, the trunk floor is buckled here, but the thing is, there is a seam that is right here. Okay, so we can take this caulking off of here. We can bust all these joints loose, and we can take and get rid of this. And this piece right here is straight. This just happens to be the top of the frame rail. Okay, we measured the frame rail. The frame rail is straight, so we lucked out there. The sheet metal on the outside took all of the hit, so we actually did really well. So in the coming week, we are going to be trimming this out and taking out all of the wadded up pieces, and we are going to be doing precise measurements to take this and integrate it into the car. And then we want to take and make the joints where there would naturally be joints. That's where your strength is. That's how you take and return a vehicle to the way it is supposed to be. Okay, generally if you take and weld one sheet on top of another sheet, or you make a seam through the floor, you know, like this one right here, you'll notice there is a cut through the floor. Okay, the cut on the floor is right here. That would be a weak point. Okay, we don't want to do that. We want to take it apart where the seams naturally occur. So you know, it puts the strength back in the vehicle. You put a good weld on there, and you don't have any problems at all. If in the unfortunate happenstance that the owner comes into another collision situation, it will be just like the car was never touched, and it will be able to take and protect the occupants from getting injured. So we're happy to make that happen, where we'll protect the occupants. Okay, so our next update, since this is episode or part 6, our next episode will be probably when we have all of this removed off of here. You'll be able to see the inner structure, where we're going to start rebuilding from, and you're also going to see the door panel on and the door on the car. Where we're conserving paint right now, trying to keep the cost of paint down. We wait till we have 3-4 pieces to paint, and then we'll go ahead and we'll shoot them all at one time. So when we shot the front bumper, we also shot the rear bumper, and there were some pieces for the grill that had to be shot as well, because there was some scratching on these pieces right here. So these eyebrow pieces over the headlight, we had to take and sand this down and refinish this. This center piece here had a couple of scratches right in here. We didn't like that. We sanded this whole thing down and redid that as well. I must say the front end came out very, very nicely. So this car is well on the way to being back on the road, and the owner is going to be happy also. Okay, anyway, this is Jeff from Rust Bucket Valley Garage. We're going to keep on working on this, and I hope you'll keep on tuning in. Like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. You will be the first one to know when I put up some new content. Hope you're enjoying my little updates, and I hope you have a wonderful day.